riding a fresh wave of popularity. Senator Kamala Harris rallied supporters today at a gay pride parade in San Francisco, but didn't directly address the latest issue surrounding her campaign, a racist tweet about her from a right-wing fringe figure. Kamala Harris is not an American black. She's half Indian and half Jamaican. I'm so sick of people robbing American blacks like myself of our history. It's disgusting. The tweet then retweeted by the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., who added, "Is this true? Wow." Harris's father is a black man born in Jamaica. Her mother was born in India. Trump Jr. later deleted his retweet, and in a statement, his spokesman tells NBC News, once he saw that folks were misconstruing the intent of his tweet, he quickly deleted it. Harris's spokeswoman shot back. This is the same type of racist attacks used to attack Barack Obama. It didn't work then, and it won't work now. And her Democratic rivals rushed to her defense, some drawing parallels to Donald Trump's so-called birther attacks on Barack Obama.
It's disgusting that it has no place in our politics.
Cory Booker responded to the tweet with an expletive, saying Kamala Harris doesn't have anything to prove. The smears against Harris come as the issue of race takes center stage in the 2020 campaign. Frontrunner Joe Biden has found himself a target because of some of his past positions and comments. Today on Meet the Press, Booker once again took aim, saying the eventual Democratic nominee should be someone who can talk openly and honestly about race.
I'm not sure if Vice President Biden is up to that task.
Race relations driving the debate as the campaign intensifies. Mike Vaquera, NBC News, the White House.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.